The following is brought to you by the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
This is All Things Elite. Welcome back to All Things Elite. Load up the pod, man, it's on when we speak. Rich right here, let me warm it up for Austin and Floyd. Couldn't be no one but the boys. When it come to All Things Elite from the fan perspective, swear, man, it ain't no question. Hear from them first. Swear, man, they putting in the work. No, they had to get me for the verse. Social Suplex Network's on. I was at a time in your headphones. Austin and Floyd on the microphone. Backing out on the ring, getting in the zone. Pulling up the show, give it 7 stars, you already know. Who else could it be but the show with the proclivity for positivity? I'm gone.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 290th episode of Social Suplex's podcast about AEW with a proclivity for positivity. Welcome to All Things Elite. My name is Austin Sumwitz. I am the host of this lovely show. Joining with me, as always, is my good buddy and friend, Mr. Floyd Johnson Jr. My man, how are you doing?
Okay, I'm better now. I was telling you right before the show, if anybody listened to the show last week, I said I was going to do like a quote-unquote instant reaction to the pay-per-view, and I would have, but I wasn't happy. And I consider, our show, the idea of proclivity of positivity is not just like, oh, that rhymes. I consider that like a staple. I'm going to always try to put a positive spin on the show. Sure. In my normal human self, I was in a bad mood. So I didn't have positivity in me right then. So I stepped away and I said, then Austin was like, I was going to try to do it yesterday. Austin said he was watching the show. Let's do it Tuesday. And I was like, perfect. Because I needed a sane person on the show with me. Because I unfortunately have this problem. When you are the happy-go-lucky person, the positive person, the person that much stuff don't bother, right? When you get slightly upset, I don't treat it like it's the end of the world. Other people treat it like the end of the world because they're not used to me being upset. So, like, when I was talking about the show at the time, and again, this was my thoughts at the time when I was in a great mood. I was like, this is the most mid-show, the most mid-AEW pay-per-view ever. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was good. I said it was the most mid-show ever. Do you know people were talking to me like I was about to quit watching AEW and this this is the worst show ever?
This is the breaking point, they thought.
I said mid. I didn't say bad. I didn't say great. I said mid. But to someone that is this positive and puts spins and this happy all time, mid seems like a calamity. And someone had to actually explain that to me. Yeah, mid coming from you is like someone else saying, like, oh, hey, 1 out of 10. Like 5 out of 10 for me is like 1 out of 10 from everybody else. And honestly, it was one specific thing that happened. I imagine everybody that has listened to this show can know what it was, and it kind of put me in a foul mood for the rest of the show. I even told you good so I can go back and watch the show today. And I was like, I watched the show with a fresh perspective, skipped the match that pissed me off.
Definitely helps.
Skipped the match that pissed me off, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm in the mood to be positive. But I was not in the mood to be positive on Sunday afternoon. I even pissed JR. Well, JR's like one of my closest friends. We spent 6 hours on the phone. I pissed him off, and it was all the silliest shit. He congratulated the one person on winning the title, and that was like a betrayal to me at that moment. I was so in my feelings. It was like, I'm glad you didn't have to experience it, Austin. I'm glad you.
Yeah, I guess
I'm glad you got to miss it. And that was the whole thing. When I'm like that, I am not a go out and tell the world I'm like that thing. I have my couple friends that have seen me go through different emotions. I'll share it with them, work through my feelings, and then address the world with it or whatever. So that's what I was able to do over the last couple of days. So I'm ready to come with my normal Floyd energy if
All
you know what
right.
that is, when I
do
review
know
the
what that
show
is.
this week.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And I have had a busy weekend of my own. Coming back, I just was in New York because I need to give a massive shout out to my little sister, Sydney, before we even start this podcast because she has started vet school. This week was her first week at Long Island University studying to be a vet, studying to get her degree and get through vet school. This is week one. This is week one of her journey for the next 4 years. We moved her in over the weekend. We hung out in New York too, because that's the awesome thing about LIU. You can just hop on a train. You get on one train and you get a quick transfer like onto a second train. And in less than an hour, you're in Penn Station, right next to Madison Square Garden. That's how crazy quickly you can get into the city from where she is. Like, she's not in the deeper end of Long Island. She's more over, it's LIU Post. So, like, she's got a really cool setup. She's got cool roommates. She's getting into everything right now with the schoolwork. She's, like, this is everything she's built up to and everything she's worked towards basically her entire life. She knew she wanted to work with animals since she was a kid. And now she gets to take a closer step to making that possible. The amount of pride I have in her is immense. Obviously, I'm going to miss my little sister no longer being here. I mean, she's out of state. It's a huge fucking thing. But I'm so unbelievably proud of her. Like, you can't even imagine. So I had to shout her out beforehand. We got back from New York just yesterday. Which is why I wasn't able to do the podcast with Floyd because I was too busy unpacking and everything, and I was exhausted. But I'm back now. Football season's starting. College football season starting this week. NFL starts next week. High school football starts this week. So this is the last day I have of tranquility until everything hits the fan. A lot going on in my life, but I'm happy to be on the show to talk about Forbidden Door London and offer my thoughts as well with Floyd. But I had to shout out Sydney first before we even got into this whole ordeal.
Yeah, sometimes I hate my job because people ask me a question and I'll give them the answer, and then they'll ask me another question, and I was like, that was covered by the first answer, and then they'll ask me another question, and that's still covered by the first answer, and I want to pull out the no hair that I have, but that just happened. But yes, immensely proud of Sydney. I do not want to take away from that. I even said, I was literally talking to JR about it, and you will hear a lot of my conversations starting like that because I'm generally always talking to JR. We just kind of have an open line to talk to each other all day while we're doing our regular shit. Well, I was talking to him, and I told him the reason I did not finish college is because I didn't know what the fuck I wanted to do, like, at all. I felt like I was there for no reason because I decided I wanted to be a teacher and a football coach when I went into high school. That was like this is what I'm going to do. Then I got in there and I found out how much teachers made.
Yeah.
And I grew up, and you've heard this, 8 sisters and a brother. Parents, they actually had good jobs. My dad was an airplane mechanic. My mom was the manager of an office or whatever. They actually had good jobs. But yeah, they had there was 11 mouths other than, 13 if you count them, mouths to feed. So again, we grew up broke. Even though they had good jobs on paper, because of the sheer amount of resources it takes to take care of that many people, that we were broke. So when I got out and I was 18, and you know what I didn't want to be anymore?
You didn't want to be a teacher.
I didn't want to be broke. I didn't want to go to 4 years of school, get into debt, whatever, and then not make any money. My teachers all had second jobs during the summer. Like, I worked at the mall. One of my teachers worked at Bath and Body Works. It wasn't for extra money. It was to live. I had another teacher when I started working at a call center. She would work, and again, this is off subject, from 7 to 1, or 7 to 4 or whatever as a teacher, then come over to the call center I was working at and train from 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. So she worked 2 full-time jobs. And it was and she made considerably more at the second job than she did at the first, but she loved teaching. I realized I don't love anything enough to be broke. So I found that out when I was in there. So I quit. And, and I was like, because I didn't have a backup plan. Nobody's like, this is a good job to have. I didn't really have confidants like that. So when you think about that, as a person like me, who just quit school or whatever, Sydney decided on this, working with animals, I believe before she was 18, since she was young.
Oh, young.
Yes. And the commitment that it has taken to get where she's got. I don't think she got into vet school on the first try.
No, it took her multiple tries. She had to get a master's degree just to get in.
Yeah, and she got in, and she never gave up on her dream. And those people, even if I did not know her, which I do, and she's one of my favorite people, but even if I did not know her, my full support would be behind her, because chasing your dreams is very difficult, because she's had many, many setbacks that could have caused her to just say, I'm going to become an accountant. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that, But no, she stayed hyper-focused to reach her goal and her dream. And that, as someone not related to her, makes me very proud of her. So congrats, Sydney. Good luck on your journey. Enjoy the LI, and so like you said, she's right there in New York. So I know at some point I'm going to go visit her, because New York is pretty common on my rotation. And, any reason to go to Broadway is a reason for me to go. I know that's weird to hear.
For sure.
But
for sure.
I'm a big live performance guy. Just any live performance. I love live performances.
We were able to go see Hell's Kitchen, which is the Broadway musical, the Alicia Keys one. Yes, we saw that.
Yes, in the last 2 years, I can't say I've become a Broadway nerd, but my knowledge of Broadway went from like a 2 to like a 6.
All right.
I know what's there. I know who's like mostly starring in it, like bigger names that do a lot of Broadway. So
sure.
No, but so yeah. So
you should have seen my mom, dude. She was babbling like a baby during that musical when it got to the No One.
Oh,
when it got to that.
Yes.
Oh my God, she was a wreck.
Yes, I saw and Juliet in Oklahoma, of course.
Yes, that's another jukebox musical. Yeah.
Yeah, and I was freaking in love with that one. And, I actually still, when I work out in the morning, it's usually to and Juliet. Like,
oh my God, you're sounding like my mom. My mom works out and runs to the soundtrack of the musical Next to Normal.
Yes, so I know that's a little weird for anybody, because anybody knows what I look like. I don't look like a Broadway fan. I don't look like a person that's going to be walking on a treadmill. Right. It is who I am. But so I am very happy for her to experience a new life. I tell people I lived with my parents and then moved straight in with my brother. So y'all know way too much about me already. But I didn't become an adult, to me, in my idea of what an adult was, until I moved out of my parents' house into what would eventually be my first wife. Then I really had to lean on myself to pay rent, to pay bills. And there were some growing pains, because I didn't know how to do that shit. Everybody had always handled it. Handled it. So I had to, learn how to handle myself. She's going to be somewhat in that situation in New York. She's going to have to learn to problem solve, get along with people, because you know what? Your parents in Austin aren't right there to help. So I am very happy for her that she'll get this experience. She's going to age like 10 years in like 6 months, because
for real,
because it's a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah. But I think more than anything, she's going to have a great time, though. But I had to shout that out first.
Absolutely. It's going to be the time of her life. But, it's going to be the time of her life. And then so I'm happy for her.
Yes, absolutely. But, of course, Forbidden Door London wrapped up this weekend. Dynamite, as you guys are hearing this, will be on tonight with their starting of their residency at 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. So we got a lot to get into. Before we get into everything, though, same spiel, download this show on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, If you enjoy the show, rate, review, subscribe, give us a share with your friends, family, coworkers, who you wish. Follow us on Twitter at ATElitePod. Shout out our boys, Social Suplex. You can follow them at Social Suplex. And they have made this show possible all these years, and you should check out all the other shows they have on their network. I am at Austin Sumowitz, SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. Go to Chop Tees, guys. You can get T-shirts at Chop Tees. So go there and grab a shirt. And go sign up for the Social Suplex newsletter. Links to both are in the description of the show. Big news is just talking about Forbidden Door. I feel like that's just where we should just jump right in, especially with the long-winded intro. And Floyd, you said when you first came off of the show, it caught me when you said that, where you thought it was the most mid AEW show, you said, that you'd seen in quite some time when you first watched the show.
Yeah.
So I will not echo the statement necessarily, but what I will say is something more so of like a opinion that I have, and you can tell me if you're right there with me. This didn't feel like Forbidden Door. That doesn't mean the show is bad, but it didn't feel like Forbidden Door.
It didn't feel like Forbidden Door. I think there's a couple reasons for that, personally, off the top of my head. First of all, New Japan has not done a great job of building stars. That's not a shot at New Japan. That is information directly from Keeping It Strong Style. I was
just saying, our boys have absolutely echoed that statement. And going into the show, I know I listened to them and I was like, I could kind of get the sentiment a little bit.
Yes. And the thing about Forbidden Door, it's about dream matchups. Well, if you haven't built any stars, there's not a lot of dream matchups to be had. And then the second thing is, I don't think there was enough CMLL involvement. You got Mystico and I think you could have brought in some tag teams. I think you could have added through an extra CMLL tag team in the three-way.
With them promoting the fact about, the opening video package for the show being like, mentioning Forbidden Door and, mentioning CMLL and Stardom, you would have thought Mystico would have been on the show.
And as much as I like Kyle Fletcher, and I actually really like Kyle Fletcher and Aroma. I thought it was a really good match. I actually watched it on the treadmill again today. And as much as I like that match, throw in the CMLL guy, make it a triple threat. You know what I mean? I just think there could have been more involvement from it, from that part of the company. Stardom was in their Stardom Grand Prix, which is like their G1. It's their big thing. So, of course, you weren't going to get a lot of Stardom involvement. I was very happy to see Mozilla, but, I completely understand what you meant. And I've always said, if I was doing Forbidden Door, Forbidden Door would have no stories if it was up to me. Forbidden Door would just be dream matches.
And it makes sense. It makes sense for where it's coming at, too, considering the fact that it's like placed right after All In.
Yes, it would have. It would have no stories. It'd just be dream matches and big 8-man all-star matches. It would be just a match to have fun with that really has nothing to do with the AEW storyline.
Exactly. Like last year's one was placed right between Double or Nothing and All In. This year's was placed right after All In and right before All Out. So, it just seems like one of those shows that you would think would just be like, we're just doing dream matches. Fuck the storylines. Yes. Maybe there'll be some slight developments and stuff like that. But like, you're here to watch the fucking match.
I think it would make it easier on AEW too, because if you don't really have a lot of belts on the line and not a lot of stories, you don't like some of these storylines over the last month. I've heard complaints online that it felt rushed. Well, if you were building the AEW storylines to All Out, which is in September, and this was just like an all-star show, I think the storylines wouldn't feel rushed going into them also. But again, it's kind of a hindsight is 2020. There's no perfect way to run a wrestling company.
Yeah,
but
no, absolutely. And again, it's not a critique of the actual show itself. It's more so just like for a show that's been called Forbidden Door. Yeah. And for the last 3 years now, or 4 years now, it has been strictly the show that is the crossover show. It is the dream match show. And it's been that the first 2 years. Even last year, I felt like had a lot of that, with the Stephanie Vaquer match with her and Mercedes. And, considering the fact that I think there were some guys that eventually became full-time AEW guys, like Mina Shirakawa, who would eventually become a full-time AEW person. They were still technically Stardom, Like, so there was still that level of like, all right, we got the crossover match and stuff like that. Like this company versus this company match.
Yeah.
But there was way less of that in this show.
And I feel like too, it'll help be less predictable. So like ZSJ and Nigel, you take the title out of that situation. It's just kind of like an exhibition match. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or you're
just trying to be like, who's the best technical wrestler, bloody blee.
Yeah, and it's just like, hey, you can save it for later. You could do some upsets to help build stories going forward. But again, hindsight being 2020. But
sure, and of course, you're not going to have the IWGP Heavyweight Champion on the show and not defend the IWGP Heavyweight Championship.
Absolutely,
it's not going to happen.
Absolutely, yeah.
So. But real quick, just to run down 0 Hour super quickly, honestly, the girls killed it on 0 Hour. That was the main thing I took it out of 0 Hour specifically, was that the girls killed it. I thought the multi-women match was very, 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 very fun. Everyone got a bunch of shit in there. I thought that was a very fun time. That was my favorite match of the 0 Hour specifically. Willow had the best hot tag segment maybe of the entire night, it felt like, because she got such levels of help. I like the fact that Stat didn't want to tag in Willow and only trusted Harley. I thought that was a really cool thing. I love the entrance of not the Death Triangle, the other triangle, the Triangle of
Madness.
Triangle of Madness, yes.
Yeah.
The Triangle of the Women, the Triangle of the Spooky Women. They will be the Triangle of the Spooky Women from this day forward until I can remember the actual team name consistently.
See,
so
we have our own names. I have the CNC
Triangle of Spooky Women.
I have the CNC Wrestling Factory, and you have the Triangle of Spooky Women.
Yes, that's what it is. But no, the Triangle of Madness too. I love their intro and entrance and how they're presented. I thought they did really good. They did make Bane look specifically like a monster, as you expected to. They needed her to continue to build her momentum. I loved Harley coming out and beating the shit out of people with the mask. I thought her ripping off the mask and beating Megan with it to get her revenge was awesome. I honest to God love that. And she got a great ovation too. I was very happy to see that the UK was very much behind Harley as well. It made my soul very warm. And
Megan's change of finisher was much needed. And
yes. Improved.
I am so happy with that. It just looks better. It's more impressive. I think there's a lot you can do as far as reversals and continuing the match. So, but for now, and I think for the continued future, no one should kick out of it. And then you build up to that moment.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah,
right
the
now,
Liger Bomb is honestly a great change. Yeah,
yes.
That's great. And I like the fact that it continues to be, obviously the broken friendship of Willow and Chris is still not repaired, and it's costing them. And she knocked out Willow by accident, and then Harley unfortunately takes the pinfall. I'll deal with it. I mean, there was one person that was probably going to take the pinfall in this match, and it was not going to be Aminata, who they're really pushing. It wasn't going to be Stat, and it definitely wasn't going to be Willow. Harley was the pinfall merchant, unfortunately. I will deal. But yeah, honestly, it was a match that very well could have been on the main card. I know it was a very long show too, like consistently what AEW shows have been, pretty dang long. But this is a match that could have very well been on the main card.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was a fun match, and it was really good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. There wasn't any too many other things specifically. I still think the Ops look incredible in their presentation, though I wish that they have legitimate challengers for the trios titles just to be able to give them more things to do. I know them kind of being involved with the main storyline and the Death Riders and to an extent gives them something to do, but I feel like just having some challengers for them would be a fun thing. But I know that's never how they really cared about the trios titles like that.
So this is where I was like, I kind of built in my head, if you want to make this show Forbidden Door, you want it to matter, you want these world title matches in between the companies to matter, I would have had the War Dogs upset the Ops right here. They would have cheated or whatever. Gabe Kidd would have came out. I would have had them beat them. And I'm like thinking, they're doing the residency in Philly. You could have the trios match again and some kind of hardcore Extreme Rules match, and the Ops could win it back in 2 weeks. But just that whole idea that on Forbidden Door, forbidden shit can actually happen. Because honestly, anytime it's one company against the other company, you just assume they're going to retain their title. Mm-hmm. And I honestly think that was like, I am an emotional wrestling watcher. Everyone knows that. I've said it many times on the show. A lot of the matches, because they were so predictable, I had no emotion towards. And then they didn't have like this home run match of the year. Like none of the matches on this show are going on my end of the year match of the year list. Like none of it. That's a spoiler. I don't think any match on this show is going in the match of the year list. They were solid. They were AEW matches. AEW doesn't do bad matches. But I don't think anything was great. I don't think there was anything, hey, man, you really need to go watch the show. Like, if I wasn't covering the show today, I'd never watch that pay-per-view again.
That's why you were leaning towards the mid-comment you said to open the show.
Yes. Yeah, that's why I was. And like I said, through another set of eyes, I feel a little bit more positive about it. I'd say the show was above average, but I still don't think it's too high. I'm not going to say it's too high above mid.
Yeah. Only other things I'll mention from 0 Hour. It was good to see Michael Oku after me having my cruise experience on the Jericho cruise and seeing Michael Oku pretty much fucking everywhere on that ship.
I need that man to eat.
Side note, I need that man to not fucking take a scary-ass dive to the outside.
Oh, yeah.
That fucking dive, he almost landed directly on his skull.
Let me tell you, AEW has made me numb to that. Through fucking Will Ospreay.
Don't say stuff like that, man. You're gonna get the Fed fans something to latch onto.
Will Ospreay, Kyle Fletcher, fucking Hiromu, all the shit that happened tonight. I was just like, that was a couple times I thought, dude, like a couple of times I thought dudes was like, and then they always get up and walk away, and I'm just like, okay, I was just worried for no reason. Cash flying through a table last week. In a draw.
Don't worry. We'll get to the Darby spot too.
Yeah, I was like, it was completely. I felt like it's 10 seconds left in the match. What the fuck are you jumping through a table for? But he did it. Whatever. So it's literally. I'm like I said, how I feel as a fan is how I feel. And you felt like we had two different reactions to that same spot. So I leave room for everything. So if anybody wants to clip me for some reason and say, oh, like, yeah, but no.
AEW fans are savages.
Yeah, I didn't think about it. No, I was like, you mentioned it. I saw the clip afterwards. I was like, yeah, that was kind of fucked up, but they've kind of made it to where that's pretty much kind of what I expect.
Yeah. But yeah, I did love the ovation he got, though. It was cool to see the man get a great ovation in London. That was very cool. But that's kind of all I really had to mention with 0 Hour. Everything else was fine on 0 Hour. There was nothing bad. It was just fine. Everything else. Show opened up with Adam Copeland and Christian Cage versus Kip Sabian and Kill Switch. I love the fact that the crowd was still chanting Luchasaurus at him. I like the fact that we're continuing that. I also love the fact that the crowd popped themselves for the chant they came up for Christian Cage, where like a small section of the crowd, you can hear them start doing the hey, 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 hoo, ha, and they're doing it. And eventually they do the hey, hey, Christian, hoo, ha, I want to know, will you be my dad? And when that small portion of the fan base says it, the rest of the crowd starts laughing, and then immediately everyone is in the chants.
Yes.
It's like, that's the reason why I love London crowds, dude. It's with soccer matches. It's with everything sporting related. They get a chant, and as soon as everyone is in on it, they're in on it, and they just turn it into this huge thing. Honestly, like, the match itself I thought was pretty good. I thought it was pretty solid. And I really enjoyed it, and I liked the fact of the tag team stuff with Cope and Christian. Yeah. I liked how they teamed up with the ways they introduced the spears and stuff like that. But honestly, the crowd was the thing that just got me in with this match. It's going to be the one thing I remember out of this match, just how awesome the crowd was.
Pop-up spear for me, but there was something I noticed a little bit, and I promise you I have not listened to any. Well, I did listen to One Nation Radio. I did not listen to any other review of the show.
I haven't either.
Because I wanted to come up, I have my own thoughts. And this is something I came up with during the show. Christian and Cope are so good. CNC Wrestling Factory is their official name for me. They are so good at what they did because they sold that they were rusty. They missed some spots. They had some timing. Christian didn't know what to tag. He jumped out of the ring when Luchasaurus or Kill Switch came in. And Cope was like, what the fuck? And it's like, yes, we haven't tagged up in this long. Hey, we're a great tag team. We know each other well, but we haven't actually done this in a while. And even no matter how great you are, when you take that long off, there is going to be some rust. And I have seen great tag teams come back together, and then they look like just as smooth as with the first time they tagged. And I always wanted in my head that little extra storytelling where it's a slow, about them slowly building up to being great again. Mm-hmm. And I thought it wasn't a lot. It was just a couple little spots. It wasn't hitting you over the head with the subtlety hammer, which is a term I've learned to love over the last year. It was just if you're paying attention, you see it. If you're not paying attention, you don't need to see it, kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. And I will say too, like, cause I was trying to pay attention and then that chant happened and I was just in it. I was like, holy shit, London crowds, let's fucking go. We are in the UK. Hell fucking yeah.
Yeah.
And that was all I took out of that from that match. Honestly. It was good. I liked it, but that's going to be all I remember. Truly.
That is one thing I always say. It's just, I was having a little FOMO and I was like, but for the most part, I was okay until you got in that crowd and it was that loud. And I was just like, Floyd, why aren't you there? I know why I'm not there. I know why I'm not there, but it was still that moment of Floyd. Sure. Why aren't you there?
Trust me, dude. If you're talking to the man that you have got to know is the one that is desperately trying to get to the UK for at some point in his life, I want to go over the entirety of the UK, like everything. Well, London. I want to go to Manchester. I want to go to Newcastle. I want to go to Scotland. I want to go to Ireland, Northern Ireland, all that kind of stuff. I want to see it all. Like I want to see every bit of that fucking country because I love the culture of it. And God knows I'm too much of a sports fan that I got to go to a soccer match. Specifically, if I can go to the Arsenal. Shout out to the boys getting the 3 points in the 5-1 win.
Dude, if we could go to Tottenham versus Arsenal,
bro, I would. If we could make that happen, dude, that would be amazing.
Tear in my eye.
I'd go to fucking Tottenham, dude, to do it. But God knows, like, I'd be the one dude. They'd be absolutely like the Tottenham fans would be giving it to me. Oh, who's this fucking American coming over here who's an Arsenal fan? Fuck this kid.
Yes, I do, but yeah, I definitely want to do that soon.
Oh yeah, if we can make that happen, that would be.
Yeah, because I am, of course.
I would bring a tear in my eye for sure.
Yeah, like I've told people this, and it's All In's my new mania. As far as All In is concerned, as long as I can afford it, as long as I can get the time off, I'll never miss it. So I will be there August 30th next year. That's the intention. If I'm alive, I plan on being there. So so we should we should make that happen, sir.
All right. We'll move over to the next match, which was the TNT Championship match between Kyle Fletcher and Hiromu Takahashi. Floyd mentioned it, how he really enjoyed this match too.
Dude, there was a couple like spots that I fucking loved. Hiromu,
dude, when he's getting kicked and he's laughing, Hiromu's laughing him off.
Yes, dude, the move that kind of turned it towards Hiromu. They're on the apron, and Kyle Fletcher is going for a suplex, and Hiromu kicks his feet out and turns it into a DDT, and it just looks like he spikes his head on the apron and then does the powerbomb to the floor. I was like, dude, fuck yes.
Such a good moment.
And it helped me get lost in the match because I knew Kyle Fletcher wasn't losing.
Oh, sure.
But it helped me in that moment. Those moves helped me get lost in the match. So in those moments, I'm rooting for Hiromu. I am a fan just rooting. And that's what my favorite matches of any show is when even if I know what's going on, even if I have a rumor, you through your storytelling and through your actions, you can get me lost in a moment. I can get
That's all
lost.
it takes, dude.
And lost in my suspension of disbelief. Those are the great matches. So, like, when I was asking what my favorite match from the show was, I was like Hangman and MJF, and it was like not even close. But honestly, this might have been my favorite match of the show after rewatch.
I can't even be mad at you with it, dude, because Fletcher is a beast. I will consistently say he's becoming quickly one of my favorites. But, like, holy shit, dude, that damn Fletcher just knows how to just make you hate his guts, but then he's just so talented at the same time. It's just, it's honestly, like, this match was great. I loved how once Hiromu was really kicking it into gear, you did doubt yourself, I felt like. Just for a slight portion, you would think, you know what? If there was a match where maybe, you know, a championship could change hands to a different company, maybe it would be Hiromu just stealing the TNT Championship, doing some weird shit with it. Who the fuck knows? But, like, it did give you a little bit of that doubt in an overall predictable match, but it was so much fun. It was so entertaining. I could see it being my match of the night, too. It's not mine personally. I will get there when we get there. But, yeah, I enjoyed this match a lot.
I want to give a couple shout-outs in that other match other than that. Bryan Danielson, great announcer. I've known this since the CW or the Cruiserweight Classic days. That dude is great on the mic. I heard people clamoring for him to be full-time. I was like, I don't think you remember his lead. If you clamoring him from the full-time, I don't think you remember his last angle where he promised his daughter that he was done with a full-time job. Whether it's full-time wrestling or full-time announcing, still full-time. So yeah. I doubt that he's that. I would love for him to be there, but I don't know who I would get rid of because I love Taz and Excalibur, and I love Tony Schiavone. So, like, they might have the best roster of announcers, like, ever assembled.
Danielson has always sold me on his commentating ability from when he did what the fuck was that Saturday morning show shit they did on like the CW or whatever. It was the fucking Saturday Morning Slam. Where he was doing commentary and screaming about wrestling a bear and shit like that or whatnot. And he was fucking losing his mind when a wrestler did a bear hug and he was like, "Oh my god!"
Yes.
Like that broke me. And then his genuine good commentating outside of the having a laugh and stuff like that. His genuine good commentary when he did the Cruiserweight Classic.
Yeah. And he did a whole comment about Taylor Swift and Kyle Fletcher, and he said Don told him. I thought that was hilarious. But the biggest shout out, and he'll never hear this, even though I consider him a friend, shout out to Oklahoma's own Walker Stewart. Walker Stewart is 22, I think. And he is the main voice of New Japan US. Now he's calling a match on AEW. This dude, if you heard the voice, if you had never heard it and you heard the voice, you understand why. He sounds like he belongs. Shout out to Walker. I was like immensely proud of him because, like I said, I know him. I mean, we're not best friends or anything like that, but we've called some shows together in local Oklahoma, had a few meals. He's a good dude from what he's a good dude from my experience with him. He got to make the trip from Oklahoma to the UK on Saturday. I was like, dude, I should be on the plane with you. But shout out to him. Congrats to him. He did an amazing job. I hope AEW uses him more in the future. Then, you know, like the rest of New Japan's talent, steals them.
Hey.
That was a joke.
Yep. We'll move over now to the TBS Championship match, the four-way between Mercedes Moné, Alex Windsor, Persephone, and Bozilla. I thought that was good. It was very chaotic. I thought the match had a nice little moment of just like, you know, everybody kind of getting their stuff in here. I liked how Bozilla was able to get herself over. I thought that there was a lot of unknown with her for a lot of fans. They didn't really know much about her. And she came in and she did some really good stuff. I thought how early on having her get the early bit of offense helped at least establish herself as somebody who belonged in this match. I thought that was really good. And the superplex with Mercedes at the top taking the worst of it, I thought was really good. Monet getting Windsor and Persephone and a statement maker together was a good spot. And yeah, I thought this was pretty dang solid. I thought everyone was getting some good stuff, but obviously Windsor being the favorite in the crowd, they were really behind her. And you know what? I thought it was a good moment where there was a tease there, but eventually as the match went on, we had the finish of the match where Windsor had the sharpshooter on Persephone, but then knees to the face from Mercedes. Persephone tried to get her own submission, but then that turned into a roll-up, and Persephone gets pinned. Mercedes Moné retains the championship. And yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I thought everyone got their good stuff in. And it was just a solid title match with the match that felt like, at least at the very least, this did the crossover that Forbidden Door requires you to do, basically. This was the first match. Well, not the first match, because obviously Fletcher and Hiromu did that, but this was the first match on the second match on the main card that continued the Forbidden Door tradition of that match type and stuff like that. So I'm having a freaking laugh with my talking right now.
Yes, because I was going to say, as the future voice of Detroit sports, sir, you got to get your enunciation down. It's Windsor. Windsor. It ain't Windsor. It's Windsor.
People are sleeping in this house. I can't go full blown Windsor. I would if it wasn't 1:22 in the morning when we're recording this.
Let me date myself. It's like Budweiser in the Wazza, but it's Windsor. Windsor. So I got you. I'll give you the Windsor, big Windsor entry.
Absolutely, Doug. Absolutely.
I always say sometimes, wrestling, a lot of times it's just understanding the assignment. There was one assignment in this match. Get Bozilla over. That was the goal. Everybody else had their spots, but the assignment was get Bozilla, make her shine. And if you didn't come out of that match I want to see more of Bozilla, I don't know what the fuck you were watching. She is something that, honestly, a legit powerhouse women's wrestler. I'm going to use this name, but I'm not saying exactly like him, but the Braun Strowman of women. You know what I mean? She's going to do feats of strength. She's always going to look big. She looks like way bigger than Megan Bayne, and Megan Bayne's a tall woman. So, her looking dominant in this match was amazing. I think there was the power slam, a double move on two people. It was kind of cool. The big suplex from the top. It was just everything she did looked awesome. Persephone, I think she's a really good wrestler, but I also am very, 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 very attracted to her. But everybody in the match was great. Alex Windsor was great. I thought the match was literally, I thought it was good. I thought it stopped short of being great, but I thought this was a really fun match.
Yeah, I think it was fun for sure. We move in next to the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship match between Nigel McGuinness and Zack Sabre Jr. This might have been my favorite. Honestly, this might have been my favorite match of the night.
This was certainly a match that happened. I will leave you to talk about this match.
I know the technical style and stuff like that wasn't necessarily majorly I don't know. I just liked it. I liked it a lot. I liked how Fletcher was able to get the early stuff in this match and be able to just play his game, but even still, Zack Sabre Jr.'s technical style is just too much to fight back out of. I will go watch Zack Sabre Jr. basically once a year to do his shit, and if I limit myself to the Zack Sabre Jr. stuff I watch, it was just I don't know, man. It felt like every move had strategy behind it. It felt like every move was just lined down to a T in the way that they do that. But it's clearly not going to be everybody's thing. But I really liked how Garcia was also still there for the story limits of just trying to help out Nigel McGuinness cheating in the way of doing so, but you know what? He was still trying to help out, so I'm seeing a possible turn for Garcia, which had me very, very excited. I liked how they were just talking shit, basically, and that allowed Zack Sabre Jr. to get caught in the Tower of London, a nice near fall as well. The only thing I wasn't a fan of, I didn't like how the fact that immediately after the match was over, Tony Schiavone comes out and announces the attendance record for the O2 for wrestling. Shout out the number, 18,992. So highest attended wrestling show at the O2 Arena. Very good accomplishment. But it felt very weird for Tony to just come out there as the guys are still in the ring and then immediately be like, hey, here's the attendance number from tonight. Woo! I
literally
let these guys get out of the fucking ring.
I thought it was setting up Daniel Garcia turning, and then he didn't, and I was like,
literally,
yes,
that was exactly my thought. That was exactly my thought too. And I will say the best part though was there was a point where I think there was an earlier spot on the match too, and having Danielson on commentary for it too, I think really helped build up the nuances to make sure you caught them. I felt like, but my favorite spot may have genuinely been when McGuinness is in a grip and he is trying to get out of the grip, but he manages to, at the very least, just get his middle finger up and just flip him off. So that might have been my favorite spot of the match, but it wasn't bombastic. It was very much like you're either going to really like this match or you're not going to like this match, or not like it, but you're just going to think it's fine. In the moment, I think just too with the British wrestling chants going across the arena too, it just felt big to me. And you know what? I was just like, I was excited when these two faced off at All In last year, and they teased that, and to have the payoff for it, I think it delivered, and I think it was great. Might be 1A or 1B is probably where it might be in terms of matches that I would go back to. Specifically, I think this one has staying power just for being incredibly technical.
Zack Sabre Jr. This is the only thing I have to say about this match. Zack Sabre Jr. famously stated, showing technical wrestling to America is like reading Shakespeare to a dog. To that I say, woof woof, and we can move on.
We move on. I don't think Floyd's got anything else to add to that, but he's got plenty to add to the next match. It is the 3-team World Tag Team Championship match between the Hurt Syndicate, Brodito, and FTR. Should I just take a step back, Floyd?
Yes. And, you know, I've had a couple days to... But this match, first of all, they're putting on the match. And, of course, shockingly, who looks dominant in the match and who beats up everybody? The Hurt Syndicate. So everybody comes out. FTR's jackets were amazing. I want their jacket guy. But yeah, the Hurt Syndicate comes out looking like aggressive. I mean, Bobby Lashley's throwing people around, Sheldon is dropping people in the back of their head, and you know the match is going. And then, like I said, the rumors seem to be true because during the match, all of a sudden, guys in masks come and attack the Hurt Syndicate, and they fight to the back. We later find out it was Ricochet and his Gates of Agony, or Ricochet of Agony, as I like to call them. They attacked him, and it turns out the reason being, because long-term storytelling, was that Ricochet got embarrassed by the Hurt Syndicate in the middle of the ring, and this was him finally getting his revenge. They were waiting on the perfect time, and they finally got the revenge by taking out the Hurt Syndicate. That leaves FTR, Bandito, and Brodito. So I'm like, okay, FTR's going to win, you know. Shout out to Brodito. They are very entertaining together. They're Tony Khan's dream. He loves a tall guy and a short guy. Look at the AEW tag. Look at the AEW tag history and understand this man loves the tall guy and the short guy. Shawn Michaels and Kevin Nash must have gave him the biggest erection ever. because that dude's been trying to recreate that the whole time he's in AEW. And now you have Bandito and Big Brody King, two people I fucking love as wrestlers. So they get into the end, and FTR is doing their thing, and I believe they hit the Shatter Machine, and then someone breaks it up. Someone breaks it up, and then they hit another move, and someone breaks it up, and they have this look on his face. And then Cash gets knocked to the outside. Brodito does the flip thing into the like a 450, and Cash is right there. He has to like stutter and make himself not get there for some reason. The ending was kind of jacked up, and they go 1, 2, 3, and Brodito wins, and then Cash puts his hand over his eyes. There was literally nothing between Cash and breaking up the pin, correct? Austin? I need you to chime in.
Yeah, about that. Yeah.
There was literally nothing there. So it again, live performances. I will, like, not just FTR, everybody. I will give the benefit of the doubt because it's a live performance. It's like you don't get a take, you don't get to do it over, you get that time. It didn't look good. You're winners and new champions, Brodito. And on Sunday, I can effectively say I got pissed. Now, I'm not going to go on the long rant that I went with Austin before. The short rant that I went on to Austin before I got to the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say this. I have no problem with FTR losing. I've said on the show, if FTR never wins the tag team titles, I am perfectly okay. Have I not said that, Austin?
Yes.
Perfectly okay. If they never win it, their legacy is set. Go out there, put on banger matches, have banger feuds, do big stuff, retire in the sunset, 2-time AEW champion, 10-time champ overall, no complaints. I understand what wrestling is. I understand what I'm watching. But, and what I'm about to say may not bother you. It may not even be a blip on your radar. But I ask this. Why am I going to commit to liking the Outrunners, the Gates of Agony, the Guns, Private Party, or any tag team in AEW not named the Young Bucks or FTR, is if at any time two people in the singles division can go get thrown together and within 5 matches be champion. And just like every other thrown together tag team ever in history, I can tell you what's going to happen because I have 6 years to prove it. Brodito is going to have the titles, they're going to lose the titles, and then they're going to never fucking tag up again. Why am I committing to these established tag teams, the Paragon, Grizzle Young Veterans, all these teams out there that you have one of the best tag divisions in the world, in the planet, and you decide to put your tag team on a tag team that has had less than 5 matches together. And yes, go through your history and be like, well, this was a temporary tag team. This was a temporary tag team. Cool. I want AEW to be different. Teams that just got together should have problems, should not, should have timing issues, should not know what's coming next. And the team that's been wrestling together for 10 or 11 years should be able to take advantage of it and win. Because they are an established tag team. Again, I'm not going to go down this line. I have 30 more minutes on it. I literally was so upset Sunday I was doing research. And again, everybody knows I fucking hate to do research. So I was doing research. I was counting. But again, this is where I say all that to ultimately get to this. I could not tell J.K. Rowling how to finish Harry Potter. She's the author. She's going to do what she does. I wasn't alive to tell Tolkien how to finish The Lord of the Rings. Right? Tony Khan is effectively the author of AEW. He has told me over the last 6 years that this is what he wants. This is what he thinks of the tag team division. This is what he likes. as a fan of AEW, a diehard fan, some, like I said, some call super fan of AEW. I run this, one of the longest running AEW podcasts. I don't think it's technically possibly too much longer than us, because we started in February and the show didn't even start till May. So that being said, he has told me what he thinks of tag team wrestling. So I can keep banging my head against a brick fucking wall until I bleed and pass out and have CTE, or I can accept that this is the product he wants me to have and kind of detach from it. Like, I'll still watch the matches, I'll still root for it. But doing the stuff like this with Brodito takes any emotional investment I have out of the tag team division. I was like, the undisputed, the United Empire, or what were their names? Kyle Fletcher and Mark Davis. What were their names?
They were the Aussie Open.
Aussie Open. I was like, they're next. Then the Guns, of course. I was like, they're next. Then they pushed Private Party. I'm like, they're next. And now look at all the teams that aren't FTR and the Young Bucks. They get pushed to a certain level, and then they're gone. Jurassic Express wasn't a tag team again after like a year. Kazarian and Scorpio Sky were gone. You just go through it. No one stays a tag team in this company. So, that being said, I'm just going to have to start watching tag team title matches pretty much with arm's length. Because when I care too much, like the ending of this match, for the most part, until I went back and rewatched it, kind of ruined the rest of the show for me, because I am an emotional wrestling watcher, and it got into my emotions. And I got into my emotions, and I wasn't able to enjoy the rest of the show. That will never happen again. Because, like I said, I understand what the author wants to do, and at this point I can either get off the train, or I can adjust myself mentally. And this match was the match where I just said, I'm going to adjust myself mentally.
Right. Just to add my thoughts too, again, the match itself was enjoyable, and then towards the end, I was just kind of like, we're kind of losing a little bit of our steam with how the moves are just kind of like, got a little bit to the point where it was just like finicky with the moves. It just felt like they weren't like tight with everything. It just felt off a little. And I will say, though, I'm just going to say this, and listen, the rumors could not be true. The rumors could be true. We don't know. We're not privy to anything.
But they look like they're true.
Yeah, it kind of looks like, when rumors come out about the Hurt Syndicate not wanting to put people over, and then they lose their titles like this, it kind of looks like those rumors about them not wanting to put people over were a little bit on the money. Just a little bit.
And as a person that is doing my best to try to get out of that side of wrestling, really try not to pay attention to the back end.
Where else am I supposed to go with it, though?
Yeah, it's just work product. It's just like, because I never had a problem with the Hurt Skin tag team.
No,
I was like, because I've seen.
I was so excited to see, and I was agreeing with the idea of like not wanting to put just anybody over. The Hurt Syndicate was this immountable challenge for somebody. Like MVP every week was like, please, somebody step to us, give us a challenge, show us what you can do. They were the true, he was the carny that was the booker that was being like, who can knock off this impossible challenge right here? And whoever was going to beat the Hurt Syndicate for the tag titles was going to be made fucking men. You beat one of the top tag teams in the world. You beat one of the most dominant AEW tag team champions in the company's history. And this is how they lose their titles. I love that Brodito are champions. I love it. I love Brody King. He's one of my favorites in AEW, bar none. And Bandito has heavily grown on me. Heavily. I started really coming around to Bandito. He's really separated himself and made him built an identity for himself, and I liked it a lot. I made the joke literally before the match started. I was like, oh, Brodito got entrance music in an entrance video. Oh, they're winning. That was my mindset. I was like, oh, they're actively treating them like a legitimate tag team now. Okay, they're winning. But that being said, though, Hurt Syndicate being this dominant, holy shit, no one can beat them, and then they lose the belts like that, it cheapens the effect that you would have gotten for putting them over.
And it's again, Bandito probably had like my non-AEW match of the year with Takeshita at ROH.
Yes.
I love Bandito. No problem with Bandito. Like, I love Brody King. I've said on this show he would be on my TV every week. There's no more of a ringing endorsement from a fan to saying, hey, I would make sure he's on my TV every week. He's one of the most physically impressive human I've ever seen. I like Bandito and Brody as a tag team. Don't get me wrong. All that stuff. But it's just like, to me, when you have a dominant tag reign, right, and no one technically beats you, the tag reign existed for no reason. You know what I mean?
No,
so
I agree.
Are they going to put the Gates of Agony over? I doubt it. So it's like, so I'm looking at this, and of course I don't know. I don't want to know. I'm like, I want the Gates of Agony to hit them with 10 chairs, and they just pin Bobby Lashley clean in the middle, and so all of this can go away, and I can just go back to fucking watching wrestling. But rumors plus actions on TV, they may be doing it on purpose, and we may be all getting worked. I seriously doubt it. I listen to One Nation Radio, and from what I understand, this is not all this elaborate work. So, that being said, I'm glad it's over because I now, hopefully, Brodito can go on and just have banger matches, and they can write this legendary tale of this tag team going forward, and they can just put on matches and, eventually lose or win or whatever they're going to do. But, yeah, again, hopefully they lose to an established tag team. I don't want it to be the Young Bucks or FTR. I truly don't. Pick one of the other 900 fucking tag teams you have in the company and have them beat Bandito and Brody. That's all you gotta do. And
I will just tell you, man, obviously we know the stage is being set for Cope and Christian to go out there and win the tag team titles. We know that's where we're eventually heading towards. Just make the belts fucking and make the division feel like it's not just 4 teams. You have way too many talented tag teams on here to be making it feel like this.
Yes, I'm telling you. FTR, you can use them. Look at what they did with Jay White and I'm looking at the Jay White and 2 out of 3 falls forward with Juice Robinson against FTR. Shit, they can make anybody look good. Brodito looked amazing. I'm not saying they're just anybody. They are both great wrestlers. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying FTR is going out there with fucking broomsticks. I'm like, they're going out there with great wrestlers. But, but it's like, that is not needed. And FTR can tell a good story without the titles. Start building up the other teams in your division. Start making those matter. Reward the investment into the other tag teams in the company by letting them win. I actually feel the same way about the women's division too, which is hilarious because it's like literally it's only going to be these 2 women as the champions forever. But in tag division is my love, is my passion. That is what you're going to hear the most about me. I love tag team wrestling. I love it. But yeah, like I said, it's just you're not throwing anybody else in any division and just having them win. You make Kyle Fletcher lose how many times before he starts winning? You make Takeshita lose how many times before he starts winning? You make Daniel Garcia lose how many times before he starts winning? Daniel Garcia is actually going through that process again. Willie Yuta's been a single forever and he's losing. And you obviously, when them losing at the beginning, we know it's leading them to them eventually winning. Why can't you do that with tag teams?
I don't know.
Well, why can't you build a tag team?
Couldn't tell you. But regardless, moving forward, we get into the women's championship match between... actually, I'm jumping the gun a little bit. Or no, wait. No, I'm not. No, I'm not jumping the gun. I got the right match, I think. It is... Nope, I'm not. I am jumping the gun. My apologies. It is the unified championship match between Kazuchika Okada and Swerve Strickland. And really good. I liked how Danielson was really putting this out. It kind of was like setting it up. I liked he set it up as like, Swerve calls himself the most dangerous man, but Okada is coming to kind of see if he can take that title for his mantle and just be able to show why he's still the unified champion. And I thought it was really, really good. I thought Jim Ross also joined commentary for this. And if I could make a comment, I love you, JR. Honest to God, will forever love you, be forever grateful for you. I cannot believe how strong this man is for fighting off everything that he's had to go through. I don't need this anymore. I don't want this anymore. When I see him out there, I'm just like, this man needs some rest. This man needs to take time and be able to like bask in his glory as one of the greatest wrestling commentators of all time, if not the greatest wrestling commentator of all time. I'm never going to tell a wrestler or a wrestling commentator when it's time to hang it up. I just don't want to see him anymore. I just don't. I can't. It hurts just because I know this man, he's gone through so much, and I respect the fuck out of him too much to see him out there when I feel like even he knows it's not the same anymore. I feel like he knows it. I truly do. I know they keep him to like 1 or 2 matches a show and everything like that. It's just, again, I just feel like at this point in time, as much as it's good to see him and everything like that, I don't know, man. It sucks to talk about it, and I don't like being disrespectful in that regard, but I love the dude so much, and I just listen to him when he's calling matches, and I can't grasp onto it like I used to.
I will just say this, and take it wherever you way. As a sports fan, I went through Bobby Bowden, and I went through Lee Corso, right? They were much older men than Jim Ross is, I believe. But I had to see them go from what I know them as to what they eventually became. And it's always harder because he was Jim Ross. Like, when people like, who do you want to narrate your life? And as a black man, a lot of people say Morgan Freeman, the great voices in America. For me, as a kid from Oklahoma that loves professional wrestling, there's only one person to narrate my life, and that's good old JR. And I love him to death, but yeah, seeing him struggle is hard. See him not necessarily, be Jim Ross anymore like he was, is hard. I am saying he can go out whatever way he wants to, but because, like I said, when you don't have anywhere to go and all that stuff, literally the only thing you have to do is, and this is from Bobby Bowden, like one of his books. He's, when you can't just quit working. But I feel like they need to find a better use for him. The sit-down interviews with Jim Ross, that,
those are good.
That made Mick Foley, that made so many people and so many stories. Man, he still could probably, those are pre-taped. He could still.
Those are still solid. I can absolutely see him still doing that.
Yeah.
Or him being a producer still or whatever he wants to do. Like, again, he can still absolutely work in AEW. I'm not telling you this man needs to retire from doing anything in wrestling whatsoever. I just can't. I can't do it anymore. I just can't. It's clear that it's not going to be able. The magic can't be recaptured, dude.
And we will end it with this. We love you, JR. And now we can talk about the match.
We love him so much. Again, I don't want to be disrespectful. It was just the one thing, man. When I saw him, I was just like, fuck. You know what I mean? But getting into the match itself, though, I thought it was really good. Okada was heavily going after the knee. I thought that was a nice little bit of his work. And there was a lot of injuries. It felt like Swerve was trying to fight through. I liked Okada getting his knee thrown into the steps and getting a steel chair to it. And then Nana afterwards coming in for the save after the match was over. Like, they were really going after his knee the whole match. And Okada just being vicious in this match too. I thought was really, really fun. And yeah, I thought just Okada was just continuing to break him down. Swerve not saying die the whole time. And I just liked so much the way that Okada was just vicious. He just was a dominant, vicious character in this match. Was able to get a pretty good victory over a guy that's been dominant in AEW for quite some time with Swerve. So having Okada really take a lot of control, I felt like, in this match. Like, obviously, Swerve got some good stuff in this too, but it was mainly Okada being able to dodge a house call and hit the Rainmaker and get the victory in that, and then beat him up afterwards. But then Nana, after he comes in for the save, is where the big surprise comes in. Holy shit, it's fucking Wardlow. He's back. Wardlow is back. And he beats up Nana. Security tries to get involved. That's not going to work. And basically, Swerve watched as Nana got beat up. And then Wardlow hugs Don Callis and every member of the family. And then that's when Konosuke Takeshita comes down, lastly, to stare down Wardlow and then stand with the family, because these guys had some beef before in the past. So now we have Wardlow back in another faction. The world changes so much, and yet it stays the same. Wardlow, yet in another faction. Welcome back, my friend.
Time is a flat circle. Is that the saying?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It's just we've reached the peak of the circle and we've gone around yet again.
My girl Kendi was super happy. Her boy Wardlow is back. He came back. He didn't come back the way I wanted. I had fantasy booked him back another way. Whatever. It didn't happen. But this match was great. Okay. And this is one of those things. Again, I'm trying to get back and kind of roll myself back to just fan. We knew about this. We knew that Swerve was going to get written off. We knew about the knee.
Right.
We knew Swerve was going to get written off. We knew everything. So where I would generally be able to get lost in this match, because Swerve is one of those people that could beat Okada, right? But I knew Swerve wasn't beating Okada. So I'm just kind of watching the match. And you have taken the emotion out of, I am an emotional wrestling watcher, and you've taken any emotion out the match. He loses. Right. He loses. Cool. He's beating his knee. Nothing. I know they're writing him off. Nothing. I already know this is coming. This is like watching an episode of Peacemaker and you read the script before. It's like nothing.
It's like watching the main event of the fucking show.
Yeah, it's like I already knew what was happening. Yeah, they wrote him off. Oh, well. Wardlow comes in. That was a surprise. So I did get pumped up when I saw Wardlow destruction. And he beat up Prince Nana, which, that's messed up. But, okay, what is Prince Nana? Why do you need Prince Nana on the show if Swerve's not going to be on the show? So it only makes sense that you write both of them off the show, right? Then Wardlow joins the Don Callis family, okay? I mean, seriously. Football team, okay? Whatever. The Monstars, whatever you want to call them, they join. And the most exciting thing of this whole match is the stare-off between Takeshita and Wardlow, because I'm like, I need that right now. Give it to me.
Uh-huh.
And you're waiting for Takeshita to turn face so he can fight all of the Don Callis family. But I'm not excited, really, about anything that I just saw when I just saw two of the best wrestlers in the fucking world go at each other, because I already knew what was going to happen. And like I said, emotional wrestling watcher. There are people out there that are technical wrestling watchers. They are, I truly think our boy, young boy Josh Smith falls in that category of technical. He's watching how the crowd, how people move, how they interact with each other. And he's one of the best I've heard at breaking down a match that way. So don't get me wrong. There is a place for those people. Then there's people like me that likes to get lost in the story and the match and like to, for this period of time, wrestling is real and my guy's going to win. And I Didn't have that in this match. So again, that also led to my mid feeling on the show.
I can understand that. It was very enjoyable. I liked it.
It was excellently performed, but yeah, like I said, I want to get lost in the match. And because of what I do, not their fault. This is 100% not their fault. It's actually my fault. Because, I can log out of Twitter and Facebook. I have that choice. I don't, but I have that choice, And because I knew everything that was going down, kind of had a hard time really getting lost in the match. Yeah.
Sure thing. Yes. We then have the Women's World Championship match between Athena and Timeless Toni Storm. Okay, this was probably my favorite match. These two flourished. I thought these two were just absolutely so good. I just really, really good. They came out early. They came out fast. I like the quick Storm Zero to Billy Starks quickly to shove her down. I thought that was really good. Tony's appearance was amazing. Athena and her cockiness and trying to do the close-up, I loved. She especially was giving Aubrey a ton of shit in the entire match. And the trying to go after the pile driver on the steps was good, but then eventually Tony was able to send her into the barricade. I also loved, too, that there was a barricade shot where the barricade broke, and then it happened again, and then the barricade was fixed. I thought that was very, very good. But Billy Starks was able to come in with another save, too. I liked her talking all the shit, too, on the sidelines. Mina coming in for the save I thought was spectacular, too. Just really, really, really good stuff. Really good stuff. And you know what? Regardless of the fact, the match continued to grow and grow and grow. She goes and manages to avoid the O-face. She gets hit with the O-face over the ropes. Then she kicks out. But then Athena tried to go again with a uppercut. Tony was able to get the TCM chicken wing. And then as she had nowhere to go, Athena taps out and Toni Storm gets the victory. And yeah, I mean, it's a huge win for Tony. It's a huge win for the women's champion. Honestly, I really thought it was going to be Athena. I really, really thought it was going to be Athena. That was the one thing. Now, obviously, Tony's been a spectacular champion, and, she's been so good at being what she is and everything like that. And her reign's been incredible, and, the women's division has gotten so much better that, there is still that role where somebody can win and take a lot out of this championship reign and become bigger because of it. But I really thought Athena was going to be the one to take that mantle. I don't know. Maybe they just still have stuff for her to do in Ring of Honor, but I just feel like what a way for her to arrive. You know what I mean? If Athena did really cement herself as like, I'm on the main roster, motherfuckers, and I ain't going anywhere. Like, I'm sticking around for quite some time. For her to beat Toni Storm and continue her reign as I guess because they've already got a multi-champion women's champion with Mercedes with all of her title belts. But I don't know, man. Pardon me. I really was thinking Athena on this. Maybe I'm off base with it, but I just thought Athena would have been, if you were going to have a title change hands, for God's sakes, this would have been the one that you could have done it with. But I still think this match was spectacular. Probably would have been for sure my match of the night if Athena won, but that's just me being bitter. But I think, if I'm being honest with myself, this was my match of the night, I feel like. I feel like I'll probably go back and watch if I'm going to go back and watch a match from this show again, it's going to be Nigel and Zack Sabre Jr., just for the fact of it being a singular. It's different from every other match on the card, and it's something that you can only get with those two wrestlers. But regardless, this was probably the match I enjoyed the most, and I think it was probably the best. But I was really pulling for Athena.
As a emotional wrestling watcher, which I've said a lot tonight, but this was kind of my match. This was my match of the night because I didn't know who was going to win. I'd heard no rumors. I'd heard nothing. So I was really lost in just rooting for Athena. I am a proud minion. I actually have a minion number. I don't know what it is. I wrote it somewhere, and I don't know where I put it. But I am a minion number. Athena's run in ROH, I've seen 80 to 90% of her title matches in ROH. I'm talking about I could not stand Ember Moon. Not a fan of Ember Moon at all. When she signed with AEW, I was like, what are they getting? But the Athena character that she has developed, I forgot what they're called, the person that beats up hussies, and everything over the last few years has taken for someone that I didn't like, and I saw nothing in, to probably one, if not my favorite women's wrestler in the world, one of. She's definitely top 3. Just pure in-ring talent, character, everything like that. So I go in this match rooting for Athena. Again, emotionally involved. So, this match meant a lot. And then it wasn't that she lost. It was how she lost.
Right.
Like the Mercedes match when she lost in the tournament. Mercedes called her slipping, got the pin. I'm fine with that. They looked on the even ground. It looked like if they did the match again, Athena could win the next time. She just got caught. The ending of this match, the match is beautifully done. Tony selling the neck. All these things I've never seen before. I love it. And and honestly, she loses. I'm like, I'm not really disappointed in her losing because she did a great job. I'm disappointed in how she lost. Just definitive tapped out in the middle. I just like, oh my God. It's just like, again, I loved it because it did get me in my emotions, which is how I like to watch wrestling. But it kind of broke my heart because like I said, I've been attached to this run of Athena, and it's like, I didn't know or if she was going to win or not. I had predicted she would win just because I love Athena, but I would have been okay with her losing. It was just how she lost. Just tapped out in the middle of the ring. It was nothing. It felt like there was no thread for them to wrestle again. It felt like it was like just cut off. End of movie, no sequel. And I just like, I don't know, when you have 3 women at this level, Athena, Mercedes, and Tony, that you have crafted and developed over the last few years and gave them a bunch of wins and they gave them a bunch of scalps, you think you would want to keep them as strong as possible, and then Athena just loses. And it's just like, go back to ROH kind of thing. And I did not like that. I'm not saying she necessarily needed to win, because I'm not. But I would have liked her to lose differently.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I can agree with a lot of that, honestly. Like I said, I thought the match was probably the best of the show, but man, I really thought this was going to be the moment where you would really establish Athena as, you know what, hey, she's no longer just the forever Ring of Honor Women's Champion, which is awesome, and she should be very proud of that too. But now she's arrived on the main roster, and she will be your top champion of AEW. Like, I just feel like it was a moment that was there, I felt like. And if there was anybody that you could trust to do great stuff as women's champion, I feel like, Athena would be that. But, I'll be interested to see where they go from here. But, I was very surprised, is all I'll just say.
They made the wrong ROH champion a double champion, in my opinion.
Ba-boom. Ba-boom. Finally, the last match on the official card, the AEW World Championship match, Hangman Adam Page versus MJF. Of course, the stipulations in this contract match was, MJF could win the title if Hangman got disqualified or if he got counted out. So if basically, as long Hangman has to win clean as a whistle if he wants to go and retain the title. Otherwise, MJF has basically got a shot to win the whole thing. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Hangman's throwing out his physicality and just being like absolutely going crazy. He comes down and had to be talked down. I mean, there was already a point where there was steel chair usage, and he had to get Bryce to calm him down, basically. MJF was trying to really set up that salt of the Earth armbar with going after the arm, and that's when they went over to the ramp. They were brawling, Deadeye on the ramp, which was really good. And I really enjoyed the table spot was great, and then a tombstone on the broken table was also really good. He wanted a count out, but Hangman got back in at 9, which he would have lost the title if that was the case. And then there was a point he basically did everything. Everything was stepping up for MJF to try to cheat basically as best he could. And then that included with he lured Hangman in to get in, run into a steel chair, which busted him open. Exposing the turnbuckle, but then he went face first into it. Crowd chanted, "You deserve it," as well during that, which was really good. There was back and forth where they were just roll up, roll up, roll up, roll up, then a dead eye. And there was the final moment of the match where I thought was really good, where MJF just puts the Dynamite Diamond Ring in front of him and is just daring him to hit him, so he gets disqualified. And he was egging him on, spit in his face to try to really get him to do it. And eventually he still just did not do it. And that proceeded to have Hangman get though actually before that even happened too, Hangman was pinned by MJF after low blow and hit the heat seeker. His foot got on the rope, but Bryce didn't see it. And the bell didn't ring because he was already knocked out from a ref bump. Mark Briscoe comes out to get the referee up, and eventually MJF tries to kick the foot off of the ropes, Hangman's foot off the ropes, but Bryce recovers just in time to see it, and that's when he doesn't call for the match to be over. To which I argue, honestly, on MJF's sides, what's to say that he didn't just put his foot on the ropes that moment? And he didn't have it when you didn't see the pinfall. Like you didn't see where it was when you counted 3. You saw where it was 20 seconds later. You know what I mean? I'm on MJF's side, honestly, with that. How is Bryce going to come to a conclusion that massive? That is a huge leap in logic to be able to make that decision. Whatever. That's Bryce for you. But after Mark Briscoe distracts him, he tries to do a hit with a clipboard that it works, but he doesn't get the pinfall. And then eventually, with another distraction, Hangman gets the clipboard and then hits Max with it. It's a final Deadeye, and then the buckshot lariat, gets the pinfall, and that's when he retains the title, drops the contract over MJF's chest, and that's the finish of the match. I enjoyed it. It was very much, I liked how much MJF was just continuing to step up the stakes with the cheating. I thought was very entertaining. I do like, though, that after the show, Tony Khan addressed the usage of the contracts for the Casino Gauntlet matches, and basically says, like, we listen to fan feedback, and fans aren't a fan of this type of stuff, so they're going in a different direction with those. I appreciate it, because, again, with something with a cash-in, it has to be used as as a Money in the Bank type thing. It just in that kind of scenario, it has to be used like that. So I liked how Tony actually addressed it after the show. So that at least gave me it was a nice little moment for me. But a lot of fun. MJF, I feel like with his character work, really led the match the whole way, and then obviously the viciousness of Hangman also gave people plenty to be excited for and plenty to enjoy. I just liked how much everything was getting amped up from all the times he was trying to get him counted out or try to get him disqualified or being able to sneakily get low blows in so he could get the pinfall, but everything he tried just didn't work. Yeah, it was fun. I honestly thought it was a really, really fun main event for the world title before the lights out portion.
Okay, so this match was exactly what I wanted it to be. Exactly what I wanted it to be. when I went into the Lex Luthor versus Superman situation, Lex Luthor has all the advantages, and then Superman still wins. You know what I mean? And why I'm talking about all the mental advantages. Of course, Superman's still fast, strong, all that shit. He can shoot rays through his eyes. But when you have someone, the Superman, and in this case, the Superman in AEW has been built as Hangman. You know, he's the main character, the main protagonist. Going into this match a couple weeks ago, before the Dynamite, I was like, I wasn't interested. It just looked like Hangman was going to win, and that just bored me. Just the idea of a regular match where Hangman won just bored me. Then they added the stipulations for this match, and it was just like, okay. I still figured Hangman was going to win, 100%, but it made it intriguing. You know, it gave some few ways out. I even said it, I had in my head, Mark Briscoe comes out, right? Mark Briscoe comes out. MJF spits in his face. Mark Briscoe punches MJF. That causes Hangman to get DQ'd. That's how the title changes hands. Again, old school wrestling, that might have happened. But again, with what Tony Khan said after, that's probably never going to happen in AEW. So you kind of taken any type of juice that this match would have had, you've kind of taken it out by saying these titles mean something or whatever. Again, I feel like I'm the only one that knows I'm watching a TV show. Like, this is a TV show. Villains, good guys, bad guys. So, Hangman's the good guy. MJF's the villain. The villain does all this sneaky shit. Hangman overcomes it, just like any other superhero in the realm of the wrestling ring. I don't like Bryce being smart. I think the best use of a referee as far as storytelling inside of wrestling, and that's what you'll hear me talk about, is storytelling, because that's what wrestling is to me. Right. It is comic books, it's movies, it's TV show. So the referee's best device as a storyteller is to be an idiot, right? Because that's the only way the bad guy can win. Otherwise, the good guy always wins. Who the fuck wants the good guy to always win? That would be so fucking boring to me. You know, I want the bad guy, to cheat, win, whatever. So when we got to that point where, his foot's on the rope, like you said, I'm like, you're assuming facts, not evidence. You're assuming that you didn't hit 3 and then Hangman put his foot on the rope. You're assuming his foot was already there because Hangman was trying to knock his foot off. I mean, because MJF's knocked off his foot off the rope.
Yeah, you're only assuming that because of MJF's actions.
Yes. And that's just, again, in the logic of storytelling, that's taking any advantage the bad guy has away. And again, that makes it boring. It makes it where I don't know. I know absolutely who's going to win. And in this case, it was Hangman. Again, I thought this match was brilliantly done. I thought it was done. I thought they performed I thought they performed what they were doing better than anybody else. They told a great match. MJF was as despicable as possible. I loved everything about this match. I really did. It spoke to my 80s kids loving wrestling match. It was just, I was fully into the good guy versus bad guy situation. I just loved it so much. Again, if I wasn't in a shitty mood, I would have gotten on here and after the show and told you how much I love this match. And I heard a lot of people like, this is stupid, blah, blah, blah. You're allowed your opinion. I am not going to argue with you over what you like. You're allowed to like what you like. But what I saw in this match has been professional wrestling ever since I was born. I've never really seen it done another way. I'm like, bad guys are over the top. Good guys are over the top. Hangman prevailed like he was supposed to. But just like the Joker, Lex Luthor, or any other bad guy, he still has the contract. He still is going to be that little fly in his head because he's never supposed to be completely vanquished because that's how the story goes. And I loved it. I thought Hangman was brilliant. I know I give him a lot of shit, but I've never said that dude's not an amazing wrestler. And his facial expressions during the match, MJF about to cry after his latest attempt to cheat didn't come through. Bryce's emotions when he restarted the match and MJF was pissed off. Dude, fucking loved every bit of it. MJF can't beat Hangman. Whatever he does, he can't beat Hangman. And I fucking love it. And what's amazing is one day he's gonna beat Hangman and the crowd is gonna go fucking dead. And it's gonna be the most beautiful thing I've ever seen ever. Because that's wrestling. It's emotion. If you're not trying to manipulate our emotions, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, there you go. We move on finally. We close things out with the lights out steel cage match between Ospreay, Darby Allin, the Golden Lovers, Hiroshi Tanahashi, and the Death Riders, Gabe Kidd, and the Young Bucks. First of all, as much as I talk shit about the Young Bucks, and as much as I be like, I fucking get these guys off my TV, I don't give a shit about them. Why do I fucking care? As somebody who read their book, when I heard Mbop, oh, I popped. And then fucking Slick Nick and Mr. Instant Replay, I was like, oh my God, they actively use their OG names, like when they were teenagers. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
And I just want to interrupt for a second. Where is Hanson from, sir?
It's Hanson, aren't they from California? Rancho Cucamonga?
Hanson is from Tulsa, Oklahoma, sir.
Oh!
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
I did not know that.
Yeah, Hanson Fest.
Did not know that.
Hanson Fest is in Tulsa,
There's
Oklahoma.
a fucking festival. Don't tell me that there's a festival.
I've been to it in May
shit.
every year. My Mbop. So yes, when that I was like, so when that popped off, of course, I was alive. I was alive when that song originally came out. I was like in middle school to high school. And all the girls were going crazy for the Hanson. And my best friend, the reason I went to the Hanson celebration is a diehard Hanson fan. That's the first thing that I did. Is like, I was like, the Young Bucks came out the Umbop. The Young Bucks came out the Umbop. And so she, like, not really caring about wrestling, went and found that video. So Oklahoma well represented on this show. Yet again, Hanson. No, I thought that was so cool. The song was stuck in my head for the next day.
Yeah, I was very happy to see that. Honestly, it was a very cool moment. Shout out Alex Windsor for the really cool speech that she had in the video package leading into Ospreay's entrance. Holy shit, that dude got the biggest pop. Dude. And it was so fucking cool to see.
Almost teared up.
Yeah. It was super sweet. It was super
so sweet. And I was like, that's Alex Windsor. Like, she started talking. I was like, that's Alex Windsor. And then she's like, if you're not scared, I'm not. You're not scared, I'm not either. I was like, oh my God. And, tears. Oh my God. I'm a big softie. I love love. So I felt like if you didn't know anything about their relationship personally, which, I didn't, he's called her his wife ever since he got to AEW. So when they said they were engaged, I was very confused. But that thing was a love letter. Like in her wedding, she shouldn't say vows. She should just play that video package. It's like, it's fine. It was so brilliant and lovely done. AEW, next level, Alex Windsor. That was just amazing.
Yeah, no, it was such a cool moment. And then this match itself, fucking Christ. I mean, it was madness. It was madness the whole time. The fucking gummy bear spot was very, very funny because obviously they wanted a dangerous weapon, and that was what was provided to them, was a bag of gummy bears. Honestly, being so accustomed to just being like, here come the tacks or whatever, or the glass or whatever the fuck they want to put in there, seeing the gummy bears just made me happy. I was just like, okay, this is fun. I like this. This is fun. The shoving them in the mouth and then super kicking them in the face or whatever just to knock him out of his mouth, and then the Usyk fuck chants. It's why I love wrestling. Everyone's in on the joke. It's very fun. Darby was just a bat out of hell in this match. Dude was dropping F-bombs on the way to the goddamn ramp the entire way. And I love just how, dude got thrown into the steel cage, like, from all the way up top. Then the fucking insanity of Mox like he gets his ear cut open first of all at some point in the match, and then that's when fucking Mox sees the busted open ear and goes, I want to get some of that tomato sauce, and then proceeds to just shove this fork into Darby's ear and just tear it and rip it and just drive it in there. It was disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Like, it was vile. I was so taken aback by that. As he's taped to a chair too. I should also remember that too. Also, Jesus Christ. Then he gets thrown while he's tied up to the chair. I also thought my other favorite spot too of the night was when Tanahashi's climbing a ladder, and then Ospreay and Kenny go like, no, get down. Like, you got to make it to January, damn it, dude. Like, come on. Like, what are you doing trying to do this shit? But the dives were incredible. Will diving off of the fucking steel cage was crazy. They were really focusing in on the neck early on, too. Like, there was a great moment where Mox has got him by the neck, and Ospreay's just like, get the fuck off of me, which was really good. They went back to calling it the BTE trigger, which I thought was really good. And then Ospreay saved Tanahashi from a pin, and then basically protected the ace from that point. And then barbed wire table spot, the multiple tables that happened with fucking Wheeler Yuta and Gabe Kidd and Darby Allin slamming themselves through the 4 tables. Match honestly finished like a traditional just multi-man match where it was just everyone hitting a bunch of moves, and then eventually the finish happens where they give the great high fly flow to Tanahashi, and that gets the pinfall. So match kind of ended. I was just like, oh, that was a nice little ending. That was nice that they gave him the spot there. It was just like a nice little good, chill, happy-go-lucky thing. They even did the fucking NXT shit where they fucking flashed up the courtesy, and then you're like, oh, that's the end of the show. No, the fuck it isn't. And then they lock off the cage as everybody gets out except for Ospreay, and the Death Riders beat the living fuck out of him with Death Rider after Death Rider, paradigm shift after paradigm shift after paradigm shift, or Death Rider after Death Rider after Death Rider. Mox just trying to basically snap his neck in half, stomp on a chair onto Ospreay's neck, leaving him completely motionless, and that allows, eventually the ops came out and demand the cage to get lifted up. For whatever reason, nobody decided to lift the cage in the truck, so that's on you, whoever's running that shit. And then also everyone forgot how to climb a cage because they couldn't get in to stop it, which, I shout out to Yuta with the kendo stick fighting everybody off as best he could. It's like he was playing a game of fucking Plants vs. Zombies or something. Just trying to keep all these guys from getting into the cage. But way to write off Ospreay off TV so he can go and legitimately get neck surgery. Yeah, it was a really, really good finish to the show. The match was fun. It was violent. There was really only one spot that was aggressively violent, and it was the fork in Darby's ear. That spot specifically, is like a, you watch it and you squirm kind of thing. But everything else, though, was very fun, very enjoyable. Everything went off without a hitch, it felt like. And everyone got to do some really, really cool stuff as well. There's too many spots to go over. Just a really cool moment to close off the show, and a good way to write off Darby off of TV.
Write off Will Ospreay off TV, which...
Ospreay, yeah, exactly.
Yes, again, that match was nuts. I think you covered it well. I don't need to go over the move-for-move situation. I am going to make this argument. The Will Ospreay write-off was unnecessary. He had already said he was taking a break after the match. Literally. On Wednesday. Said he was taking a break out of the match. Just think it was unnecessary. Think you could have left him with that bright moment with the UK and left. Because the reason being, you can't follow up with it on Wednesday.
Right. And it also just kind of takes the air out of the show a little bit for fans coming out and leaving.
Yeah. And it's just like they just sat through a long show, let them scream, Ospreay, Ospreay. And then Will Ospreay gets on the mic, says, hey, I'm going to get this shit taken care of, and walk out. Now, Again, I am reacting to what happened. Okay? I want to make sure that's clear. Because if they use this Will Ospreay thing on Wednesday to make a new storyline, okay, my bad. It was necessary. Right? But reacting as a wrestling fan that unfortunately already knew about Will Ospreay, but this was the whole thing. Will Ospreay said he was leaving on Wednesday after the match to go get neck surgery, right? The write-off was unnecessary. I don't think it kept any heat on the Death Riders. They're still assholes, you know? Darby still
and
wants
that was
to
all
win.
I took out of it, was that basically making the Death Riders to be dangerous again after losing the titles. That's all I took out of it.
Darby can come in and it's like, I don't care if we won that match. I still got beef with you, John Moxley. I'm still going to take you out. I'm still going to beat all the Death Riders. Beating you in that match was enough. I need to finish all of you. I just felt like you could have left with the warm moment of Will Ospreay doing the thing at the top and leaving. Might have been, like I said, again, we are doing this right now. We're on the day of Dynamite. So they could very much tighten this up and they could start a new rivalry based on Will Ospreay getting hurt. But as of right now, as of 2:30 and roughly in the morning Eastern Standard Time, as a fan, it seemed unnecessary.
I can understand that. I really can.
Yeah, it's like
I'm not too broken up about it.
No. If it did happen, it didn't happen. I'm just saying, this is the thought that was going through my head. Like as I watched it back, I was just like, this kind of feels unnecessary. And again, because of Will making the big speech before, saying this is why it's unsanctioned, it kind of took the juice out of them writing him off.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, yeah.
I mean, he said he was leaving no matter what, so he was going to be gone, whether they jumped him or not. So that's where I'm saying, that's where the juice lost something for me.
Yeah, fair enough. But
yeah.
Regardless, I think that is going to do it for Forbidden Door, a show that overall enjoyed it, had some fun, but honestly, like I said, in many instances, this show did not feel like a Forbidden Door show, which, is the crossover, like, holy shit, dream match show. Had some good moments, had some good matches, but I can understand Floyd's early testament of it being a little mid. It was enjoyable. I think it will be a show that I don't go back to heavily, but was fun. And I will also give a massive shout out to the crowd too, because they did a lot of heavy lifting for a lot of moments too, and gave some great experiences as well. And again, I will continue to shout out the UK for their crowds being incredible, because they have been for quite some time. So that's kind of how I'll leave the show off with that.
Yeah, and my original rating was 5 out of 10. After the rewatch, I'd say 6.5, 7 out of 10 maybe.
6.5, I think it's fair.
Yeah,
I think 6.5 is fair.
Yeah, and I was like, that's where I got it. Nothing, so big. We're not a ratings podcast. We're not sitting there going 4 stars and all that stuff. But I was just like, I felt like I was saying how I felt about it at the time, and then I was seeing how the rest of the world was feeling about it, and I was like, okay, something was wrong with me. I was like, I got detached somewhere in this show. And so that's why I went back and rewatched a show that I basically said I wasn't going to rewatch, and then I rewatched it. So that's it for that part of it. Yeah. So that's all I got to say about that.
All right. And finally, real quick, the Dynamite, we were glad we recorded this when we did, because we actually have matches to preview for Dynamite. They announced Harley, Cameron, and Chris Statlander will team up to face Megan Bayne and Penelope Ford in a tag team match. Darby Allin will face Claudio Castagnoli in a Falls Count Anywhere match, with this being at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia. Fuck me, this is going to be a fun match. And then Jon Moxley versus Daniel Garcia was another match that just literally got announced just a little while ago as we were recording this. So big match for that one as well for Dynamite.
Yes. And hey, shout out to our social media lead, Laura, and her friend Kendi. They will be in Philly for all of the Dynamites. They will be at the Dynamites. So we might get some live reactions from them inside the show. I like the lineup. And like I said about Daniel Garcia, I think he's going he's kind of reverting back to that. He's going to fight big people and lose situation. So I don't know what that's going to lead to, but it looks like they're reverting. Claudio and Darby, Falls Count Anywhere is going to be fucking nuts. Anytime Chris Statlander and Megan Bain are looking across from each other, you can sign me up for that.
Hell yeah. And that's what we got for Dynamite so far. And there's one little bit that we want to touch on. Floyd wrote this in the notes. I'm going to be very enjoyable to hear his thoughts on this.
Okay, there's two things. We did skip over the quick giveaway update. We're going to do the giveaway for Forbidden Door. I know, like I said, I wanted everybody to be able to get in. It's been a few days since anyone entered. So I probably could have just done the drawing today, but I kind of wanted, because I got it out so late, I wanted to give everybody. So next week, we generally record on Thursday. So Wednesday or Thursday, September 3rd, September 4th, I will do the drawing and announce the winner then.
Did you want to do it this upcoming Thursday or next Thursday?
Next Thursday.
Okay.
So we're going to do a drawing. So just give the last people time to enter or whatever. And so I just wanted to let everybody know, just in case you were wondering, listening to the show, trying to figure it out, it'll be next week. The stuff is packed. It's ready to go. All I got to do is slap the address label on it and send it out. So it will not be a long time after you find out you won that you actually get the item. I wanted to say that. There was one more. Oh, yeah. Jake Hager. I woke up this morning. I sleep during the day. So I woke up this afternoon to Jake Hager saying, there was a lot of things. I did not listen to the whole interview. I want to first and foremost say this. I got better things to do with my life, like breathe, than listen to Jake Hager. And at some point, he decided to name drop FTR and said they didn't show up to wrestling because of booking. Again, FTR, Dax I think he turned 40 this year. Cash is 38. They are grown-ass men that have known me probably 1% of their life. I have no reason to come on here and defend them. I don't, because, again, they don't need to be defended by me. I'm not even in the business. But I saw the screenshot after, and he says he didn't know if it was them. So he was just speaking. And Cash was like, you make us sound like assholes. We're kind of assholes, but we always show up to work, which, from my point of view as a fan, they do. But again, I don't know the backstage thing, but I do know this. Look at the fan fest they've run in America. Austin, you've been at a lot of them with me. There is one tag team in the company that is at every one of those fan fests. I have the pictures to prove it. And it's FTR. The day the guy that apparently the reason that they would not show up to work, CM Punk, got fired, they wrestled on the show.
Yeah.
So it would be kind of weird on evidence to listen to them. So with that, I say, Jake Hager, you're no longer Oklahoman. You're banned. You're a Texan now. Nope. I'm not referring to you as Oklahoma's own anymore. I had a purple hat. I gave it to my dog today. He's been pissing on it like it deserves. Even though the hat was more over than Jake Hager ever was. And again, I've always defended him because I always thought he was a decent wrestler. I never thought he was going to be the world champion or nothing, even though he was the world champion. But he was always a decent wrestler. He was from Oklahoma. Every time I had an interaction, he was really, really nice. Everyone I know in Oklahoma talks about how awesome Jake Hager is. So to throw somebody under the bus and not be sure, that's kind of fucked up. I think it was Austin that murdered that person.
Couldn't tell you.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you. It's kind of fucked up. And then Cash posts the screenshots where you apologize. Then you reply later from your Twitter that they weren't there, and it doesn't matter what the screenshots say, even though the screenshots is from the conversation with you.
Yeah, the mental gymnastics that he had to reply to the text evidence. Like when somebody goes out and they actively are going to be like, oh, this is where we're going to play with, and they immediately lead with text screenshots, There's very little you can do except for basically taking the L.
Yes. And my boys aren't well liked, at times through the wrestling hemisphere. But it was funny. No AEW fan believed it from the beginning. No one listened to Jake Hager. If you look at the comments on it, they're like, nope, this isn't real. Yeah. And that is a testament to FDR. Again, they don't need me to defend them. Their work defends themselves. Whether you like them, don't like them, think they're assholes or whatever. That's your opinion. I'm not going to try to change your mind. But the motherfuckers show up to work. They work Dynamite. They work Collision. A lot. They work both shows. So, again, no defense from me. Even though this may have seemed like I was defending them, but I really wasn't. Because, again, facts are in evidence. You watch the show, the facts are in evidence. They don't need me. Mm-hmm. I am no one. Like I said, I've known them like 1% of their life. But their work ethic and who they are stands on its own.
I will say, though, Jake leading with the I apologize if you're upset, though, shit, immediately just reading that, fuck you.
Exactly. I'm apologizing.
If you're leading with the I apologize if you're upset, dude, shut the fuck up. That's such a fucking backhanded thing to say.
Yes, I have been teaching one of my friends who to remain nameless how to apologize. Because their first thing is, I'm sorry, but... Nope. Stop.
Nope, you can't.
No.
Can't do that.
Stop. If you're actually sorry, there's no but. But, no. There's no but. As soon as you put but, there's not an apology. The apology's dead. So I'm trying to teach a friend how to apologize. And it comes difficult because they also like to be right about everything. But
that doesn't really work well when you try to apologize.
Because apologize is saying you're wrong. Yes. In essence, it's saying you're wrong. So, yeah. So, no, I'm trying to help them along on their journey. But, fuck Jake Hager. That's all I got to say. And like I said, if you've listened to the show, I've been one of the biggest Jake. So, if you listen to the show, I'm a huge Jake Hager supporter. I always say Oklahoma represent every time I see him. So, don't get me wrong. I liked him. I'm not going to pretend like I'm not trying to revise history. I'm not going to I never liked that guy. I did. Liked him a lot. Like I said, no person that I knew in the area, people that had booked him or whatever, had anything bad to say about the guy. Always seemed good. But I will say this one thing about what he said. This is not defense of anything. You can't call somebody a money mark and a communist in the same sentence. That kind of works against each other. Yeah,
that's a funny. I didn't even see that part of the interview, but
yes. So I will say this. They always said this about it. You know the difference between a bitch and a slut. A slut fucks everyone. A bitch fucks everyone but you.
Ooh.
Tony Khan pays everyone. Tony Khan paid everyone but him. So fuck off.
The damn. I will say again, shout out to CBV, Chris Van Vliet, doing his thing, obviously. The endless amounts of content will not cease to come from those interviews, good or bad, because, some wrestlers are just what they are,
I love him because he does nothing to instigate it.
No, it's all going to be the wrestlers that want to say their piece. Yes.
He asks the question. He gives them the rope.
Yeah, you can't say that you can't say that he goaded him into clickbait or whatever. You can't be mad at Chris for this type of stuff. You came on and you started this.
Yeah.
This was your angle you wanted to go with, basically, of how you wanted to do this interview.
If you watch Vlad TV or Shannon Sharp show, you can tell they're asking the question to try to get the response.
Oh, they're leading. They're leading heavy.
Chris Van Vliet kind of gives it to you, and you do what you want. You can go left. You can play it easy. He doesn't push. He just lets you go. Mm-hmm. Jake Hager, anything that happens, he does it himself. But the dude retired from wrestling. He's not in the wrestling business anymore.
Exactly.
I don't really understand why he got interviewed, but that's not my business. Chris Van Vliet is very successful. I have met him 3 times. Nicest guy on the universe. Just genuinely nice guy. It might be fake. I don't know. But he's all nice, so I don't have anything bad to say about him. But yeah, Jake Hager kind of pissed me off because again, I mean,
I get you.
Again, you went after my boys, my boys. And
well, and again, you can say, and again, you've always been fine with people saying like, they don't like them. Just don't make shit
literally,
up.
In that post, it says, yes, we're all assholes, but we show up to work.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's just like one of those things. I was like, I'm gonna say something about it because if anybody knows the show and how much I love FTR, I feel like there was expected for me to comment at some point.
Oh, sure.
So I figured just throw that out there and say, yeah. So no longer from relatively infamous Texan, Jake Hager. Yeah.
Yep. There you go. But I think that will do it, though, on this episode of All Things Elite, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate the support. Rate, review, subscribe. Share the podcast with your friends, family, coworkers, whoever you wish. Turn automatic downloads on and download the show on YouTube Music, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to us on. We appreciate the support tremendously.
Pause. I did forget something. On the ending. We didn't talk about the poll. The guy.
Oh, yes.
And I'm sorry. I did not mean to step on the ending, but I said we were going to talk about the poll. And what I'm trying to get better at is when I say something, sometimes it doesn't happen. I want to make sure this happens. Mark Briscoe.
Sure.
Mark Briscoe won the poll. 35.3%. Kenny Omega was next, 29.4. 25.5 for MJF. But I think the most famous answer, or the one that got like a lot of pub, was from Retrograve _ Steve K. He said Roosh, and then he had it built out where it could be a Roosh versus Hangman at the next 3 pay-per-views for the rest of the year. As a big person, as a big fan of El Toro Blanco Roosh, I was intrigued by this because it would be a new name, and Roosh is a former Ring of Honor champion. I don't think he's taken many singles, like a ton of singles losses in AEW. So I think it would be very easy to turn around. And later on that day, after that post, Roosh replied to Hangman's and still with the 2 eyes watching. So I don't know if Roosh just follows All Things Elite, but I think he saw that post.
Oh, shit.
So now I'm like, I went from a person that originally voted for Kenny Omega because I'm like, okay, it's all out. So in my head, I have 2 Canadians. Again, complete fantasy booking. It's in Canada. I was like, it should either be Kenny Omega or it should be Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is 6 years ago at All Out for the world title. It was Hangman versus Chris Jericho. 6 years later, at All Out, Hangman versus Chris Jericho. Hangman's the champion. Chris Jericho's coming in as challenger. Hangman's the face of the company, not Chris Jericho. Can Chris Jericho, in maybe one of his final matches for the world title, win it? That's amazing. Second of all, is Kenny Omega. And if I have to explain to you why Kenny Omega and the Hangman main event sounds great, turn off the show and never listen to it again.
That's basically it, right? That's basically it.
Yeah. No, I'll tell you. If I have to tell you why Kenny Omega and Hangman would be a great main event of a show in Canada.
You shouldn't have even found this show if that was
They're
the case.
Just go away. Never come back.
How did you find the show?
Yes. Block me on Twitter. I don't care. Just go away. It's Kenny Omega and Hangman. Fuck you. I'll go watch it at a flea market. I don't care.
Honestly though. But yeah, thanks for bringing up the poll. I missed the boat on that completely.
Yeah, and I didn't put it, and I didn't put it in the notes because I'm a freaking idiot.
Hey, it's late as hell, dude. It's late as hell.
Yes,
it is what it is.
So go ahead and do the wrap up, sir.
Yes. I said the whole ordeal with the rate, review, subscribe, and everything like that. Follow us on Twitter at ATElitePod, at Social Suplex. Those guys make this show possible. Give them some support. Follow them. Listen to their other shows. Great listens. I'm at Austin Sumowitz, SZUMOWICZ. Floyd is at Floyd Johnson Jr. on Twitter. Buy a t-shirt from Chop Tees from us. Means the world if you would. And then go sign up for the Social Suplex newsletter. Links are in the description of this show. and I will pass it off to Floyd so he can take us home on this episode of All Things Elite.
It's been a long show. Not going to be a long intro. I just want to say hi, Jackie, and she'll know what that means. And then I'll leave you how I always leave you. Whether it's home, work, or school, always do your best to be elite.